Did you all just got a little message then?
Yeah, did yeah. Going live stream.
Okay. It hasn't popped up. It hasn't popped up on my screen, so I'm just going to go to India and check. Sorry about this. Let's see if we're live. Yeah, we are. We are live. Oh, so it's done it different. Apologies. Here we are. See you all. Welcome. Hello. This is our live show, Word Up, SPO's news and updates, 6th of the 8th, 2024, with myself, Anders, Kevin, and Bert.
Hello.
I'm just going to check.
Hello.
Thank you, boy.
I'm eating at the minute, so I'm shutting the video down.
Hi,
I'll do the sharings. We'll do the sharings. I'd like to talk, because I'm not in home turf at the minute, I'd like to talk and see what's happening, what thoughts and feelings are once the scribes get in about current events with stabbings, riots, political, social, civil unrest, concerns that we have there. I've got the chat room up. If you can see the chat room, brilliant. If not, I'll manage that. I'll put it into the
I'm just
Telegram.
waiting. There you are. There he is there. Just trying to get the chat room up. Nah. I need some more coal in my tablet.
Is your candle gone out?
Yeah. Ride the bike a bit faster. Right, I'm in the chat. I can see us up there. It's all good.
I've done Telegram. I do Facebook and Tube. Facebook in the domain now. And we can begin. What's the temperature over there? Kevin, Anders, what's England temperature like? What's your weather been like? How is it?
22, 23 today. Was a bit murky this morning, but quite pleasant this afternoon. Yeah, it's been warmer last few days. Been quite pleasant. Sun and cloud, but plenty of it. If you see it, plenty of sunshine. So apart from today, it was a bit wet this morning, but it's all good now. Looking lovely at the moment.
We had 26, 27 here in Sweden, and now it's down to 14 degrees Celsius.
Mental, isn't it?
Yeah, winter is coming.
Yeah. Oh, what's happened there? Go back there, you dozy thing. Right. Oh,
Is it your wife?
if only I had a brain. What's that?
Is it your wife, Kevin?
My wife?
Yeah, if you are speaking to your wife then.
Like in my gentle tones. Right. We're there.
That's it. I've shared it everywhere. Have you got any topics or anything you want to discuss or talk about, or what's happening, what's on your mind, concerns? We can dive into updates and stuff as well. What we're doing.
Yes, I want to talk about the racism, and that's a racism against our farming animals. It's a norm and it's real, because they really want to kill our farmers' animals, you know. So I see that as a big threat. I was a bit ironic in the beginning. Yeah, I have to admit that. but I mean it. It is like, what are we going to call it when they are doing this? Are we going to say it's genocide? No, it's not working. But if we say it's racism, because it's against that race, you know, and then the same rule has to be for them as well, by natural law, I believe, because that includes all the animals too.
Well, the kingdoms of plant, the three kingdoms that we're aware of, yeah, the kingdom of plants, kingdom of animals, kingdom of man. If you want to look at it in an old-fashioned way, then yeah, you're right. Yeah, they have their place, their rights, their entitlements, consciousness, an atom. If you go if you want to go even further, when you look at I forget the exact name of the experiment, but it's known as the double slit experiment, isn't it? Where they look at waves and particles, and the atoms, electrons, photons, etc. They know atomic particles, subatomic particles know when they're being observed. So with that sense, there is consciousness within everything in the scriptures where it says that you can see, and I paraphrase because I'm not a biblical scholar, but I'm aware that the word of the Lord in the recordings of the scriptures of the word of the Lord, not said by the word of the Lord, but written by man, ironically, it says that you will find evidence of me in the creation. So
yes,
perhaps
but I just want to break in here, David. All I want to say here is, how many kingdoms was there? The human kingdom, and there was the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom. Huh? How many of them do we have control over? The plant kingdom has been taken over by Monsanto, yeah, and the animal kingdom who've been taking control over that one. That's the farmers, and still Monsanto also. You know, if you come to the rainforest, what they are doing there, you know, they are exterminating those animals too. You know, so I don't know where I want to go with this, but yes, it is about the kingdoms. You know, they are taking one kingdom after one, and the last one is the human kingdom that they have control over. But we can still take it back, you know. Then we can take back the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom too, because that's what they're messing up with all the chemtrailing and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I want to say. Start with, yeah.
Yeah, that's important. That's a topic of which is of what would we say, mutual interest, public concern around the world. Yes, in England, the farming industry has taken hits, and it's basically non-existent, isn't it? So we import, and what we import. Right now, I'm away. I've been abroad for a couple of weeks, as you know, and I'm going to be here for the duration of 3 weeks. When we go to the markets. And when we go to the supermarkets as well, like the Interspars, and I don't want to, you know, I'm not name dropping, but I have to tell you the names of the supermarkets. The big supermarkets that we have in England are also around the world. So, you know, I look at the produce and the fruits there, and they have seeds in them. They are big, they are ripe, they are juicy, they are fresh. They're nothing like what we get in England. The Brexit, you know, when we agreed to go for Brexit. And we said that things will change more positively for England, such as, you know, NHS getting more money, immigration being controlled, blah, blah, blah. You remember the promises, or you can find out what they did say. Since Brexit, the NHS has gone downhill and there's less money, we would say, or we seem to see there. Immigration and UK border control has been non-existent. And the vegetables, fruits and selections that we get from Europe imported are of substandard quality, and generally the ones that we buy that we believe are grown in England by English farmers that have this red tractor symbol can sometimes be substandard foods as well, where the tomatoes are still greeny red, they don't have any taste, they sometimes are lacking in seeds, they could be genetically modified, probably hydroponically grown because we don't have the climate. So in my opinion, I'm pissed off with it all, and I'm concerned of what we're eating, the chemical content, the genetic content, the overall standards and the nutritional value of that. And obviously, if we've got the means and resources and capability to make our own food, grow it and distribute it, why don't we? Where is the benefits? Who benefits from this? Because we're not. And when you travel around places and you eat fresher fruit, not necessarily organic, but wholesome, tasty, with seeds, and it's just disgusting in a way. It's America. Just to close down, from the research I've done and what you lot are all doing and what we're sharing with one another, it appears that food in America is one molecule away from being plastic. I yield.
Tasty. Yeah. All I was going to say is just something I've picked up since got what's his name, Kid Starver, as Prime Minister. Have you noticed, his reaction, or this reactions over all this trouble and that's going on? But I think is what I see, because we know he's a WEF puppet. I see that he is basically a pound shop version of Trudeau, and he will try all the Trudeau stuff. It's gonna get draconian, mark my words. Absolutely what he's gonna do. He's just following the orders. That's why he's stirring up even more hatred of what he's saying. It's ridiculous. So I see
sorry, but what I find scary with him, it is his connection with the Zionism. And that Zionism is actually sitting in all the governments now, that is doing all the wars,
Yeah.
So I am really worried about that. So that's what I see. That's the biggest fear of it.
And he's married to a 4B2 anyway, isn't he?
4B2, screw? Who?
Jew.
Yeah. Didn't know that one.
Named a Jew. No, I don't want to be like that, but it is actually the Zionist, And before,
but what I'm saying is he's married to one, so he's married to his handler probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a weapon. He's a sir. I'm not saying that as like I hold him in high accolade. What I'm saying is, in his circles, in the aristocracy, the elite, as they call them, they will say the elect. Then, yes, sir, he was under prosecution for. Who was it? Jimmy Savile? Who did he help prosecute now when he was in that area of the prosecution, Crown Prosecution Service?
He didn't help prosecute him, though, did he? He helped him alleviate prosecution.
Yeah.
Go on.
Maybe Jimmy gave him a bit of a rusty trombone and he went, all right, I'll let you off. Can remember we're live.
It's all right.
One of the members, I don't know whether you see it, one of the members, I'm not going to mention her name, but she posted a bit of legislation that actually has Sir Keir Starmer, QC, in it, and it's related with pensions.
Oh, he's got his protected.
Yeah.
They brought in some legislation basically to protect him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been looking at it, and then I haven't had the time to look at it today or whatever. But it leads to a few other acts that I need to go through. Yeah. One of them, I can't even say the name of it. It's so out there. Yeah, I don't even know what it stands for. Yeah. Something to look up.
It's all madness.
On a positive note, I was going to say, before we get waylaid into this, then, on a positive note, I would just like to say that...
Is there a positive?
There is.
Yeah, it's all in this room.
On a positive note, we are planning the seminar gathering meeting festival, SovFest 2024 for late August, early September. We have a venue. We have amenities. If we pick it, if we have the festival, we'll call it a festival at the right time, which will be early to mid-September. There is a season closing party available for us on the lands. There's room for vans. You can pitch up on a tent. There's lots of amenities and options available for you. So we're doing it a bit different this time. Llangollen, Wales. The details can be found within our private domain and our private Telegram group. We can open it up to guests and family members. It's private, but it's not strictly private. We'll manage it as we always have done. So we're just going to finalise a date, which is we need to speak to Anders, Kevin, Albert regards this date and his potential. If we can give him an opportunity to attend, depending on the dates, and we'll endeavour to do so. So that's something in the near future, within the next, where are we?
The dates need to be sorted out though, don't they?
Hey?
The dates needs
Well, we need
nailing, and then putting it out there. Obviously, everyone needs.
Yeah, we've got the venue, we've got the place, and we've got the options of doing it for mid to late August, or all the way from mid-August to mid-September. So there's a 4-week window where we'll try and please everybody and pick the optimum date to maximise the potential. So
that's going to be hard.
Yeah, it is, because Sue said there's some dates that we must have, and if they're not, if she's not. The reason we're going to Wales, one of the main reasons we're going to Wales, other than it being a lovely countryside, and the venue itself, the land of which we're looking at holding the festival on, was Sue and getting down there. So we said we'd look at it, and if there was an option to do so, we would. There is an option. We're doing it, and she's got some dates of which she's going to be away. So it will be hilarious for us, but not for Sue, if we pick those dates when she's away. So I need to be wary of that.
No, David, it is not. It is the anniversary for you and me when we was meeting the first time in Llangollen.
Have you got a tear in your eye? Let me get closer.
Yeah.
Not in his eye.
His mince pie, sorry.
Want to get some idea of numbers. And
Exactly.
I think what we should do, we should book something, or book a couple of venues for, I don't know, March, April next year, and a late one. And then we've got shitloads of time to advertise it.
Well, we have advertised it for 3 months now. We've said it will be in August or September. We said it will be in Wales. Yeah, so they know we're going to Wales in August and September, and we are going to Wales in August or September. So they've had a good 12 weeks of chirp about this. We just got to finalise the date. So we've advertised it for 12 weeks plus, and we are holding to our plan, and we're going ahead with it. So that's as real as it is. We can't please everybody all the time, but we're having a go. So if you'd like to attend, then you would find the information from us in the private, or if you know somebody who is a private supporter of our educational trust, then you can work it that way, and they will communicate with us and name their plus ones and all the souls that are attending or are planning to attend. So yes, we are happy about that, and that's a positivity right there. And we're doing some work with regards to, I'm doing some work, the Trust doing some work, the Royal We as well, regards obtaining, we'll say, the administrative remedy, when we speak of remedy, for the current state of play with regards to surety to the national debt, and obviously moving estates from public to private and not being assumed as a person by default, and under the legislative, administrative, or juridical laws as such, commercial laws that we see at play at the minute. We respect common laws. We don't think we're above the law, but we have to differentiate now, especially now in these times, where we're at. So when we seek remedy, we would look to go to a certain place, and that certain place has just gone through a massive reform. So we are currently going back to the drawing board with regards to the Lord spiritual, Lord temporal. The disenfranchising of church and state has thrown a massive spanner into the works. for us to know. Not massive, but obviously the remit and the
that ain't even
responsibility.
been through, is it? That's not it's going through, but it has to be passed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the pipeline now.
Yeah. So we need to strike while the iron's hot.
Well, can I say something here? It is like I am moving in the end of August here, so I'm going to be occupied 15 days before the end of August with packing and everything. And then I'm going to be ready on the 15th of September. Then I'm ready with everything. And then I would love to come and meet you guys, you know. But I can't come until after the 15th of September. So if you guys can delay it a bit, I would love it. And I don't know how many that have been answering there on that website that we have. So if it's not many people, then I think we can make the decision when to put it up, because it's not many people that want to come up with any ideas, that what it seems to me, you know. So I would love it if I could come and see you all guys there.
Yeah, we'd like that too, mate. Evening, Barney. To see Barney in the room. Leave my rights alone. Good evening. Anders, good evening. Oh, you're in the room as well, mate. How'd you do that?
Oh,
Or Yossi, not sure which one it is. I do apologise. Dorian Gray. How's your painting?
Barney, is it Barnaby or Barney?
Barney.
Is it Barney? Oh, on YouTube it is, but yeah, I'm just thinking, yeah, it's Barney. All right then.
He's got Bounster on his. Oh, fuck's sake! Go, stupid alarm.
That's secret. That's why it's undercover.
I had a couple of hours with him today. It was very pleasant, and spoke to him for a while. So it was nice chatting to him today. Getting himself together.
Yeah, I do see that there is a lot for us to talk about. There is a lot for us to do, because the government won't do it, and the way that they look at things is not the way that we look at things. So with the politics at play at the minute, the change of government that we've had, going from Conservative to Labour, the impending financial, civil, political. Man, all of the decisions that are going off right now, you know, the United Kingdom, England, however you want to call it, Anglo soil, riots, Romanians, Yorkshire, stabbings, riots. You know, it's not indicative, a sign of times as such. It's indicative of unrest, unhappiness, disenfranchisement of society and communities from their local, the local electorate. It's people are taking matters into their own hands. Taxes, police vans. It's riots. Don't always go to plan. We'll say one thing starts, doesn't it? I don't think anybody has planned this, but with the stabbings and what's happening. Southport, was it? I'm struggling here because I'm struggling to remember, but Yorkshire, Romanians, child services, riots, stabbings. Anybody want to expand on what's been happening? Comments and concerns there, how this has happened, why this has happened. Is it right? Is it wrong for communities to stand up and to say that enough's enough? This is what we're facing every day. Migrants coming across the channel illegally. We're not opposed to helping anybody, but when they get injected into communities that are already, we'll say, less well-off communities, working class or poverty-stricken communities, and then these illegal immigrants that have come across illegally are showered with benefits and given amenities and doctor's appointments and dental appointments and money and things that we can't get as Indigenous dwellers of the residents of, whatever you want to termify yourselves as taxpayers, as etc. How do you feel about that? Is it, enough's enough? How do we deal with this? Is it going to be a regular occurrence? Is it something you agree with? Is it something? Have you got any opinions on this? Have you seen anything? I yield.
I've seen plenty, but as usual, it's just the terminology it's being used. Everything's far right, which it just isn't. But the problem, again, what we should be doing, but it won't happen, is all the communities, including the Muslims, everything. That's what needs to happen. Us all to come together and go, hang the fuck on a minute. We can see what's going on, but that won't happen. And of course, there's some fucking idiot moron racists in it and amongst it. But to be claiming it's the EDL who disbanded 12 years ago, I believe. So it's just so ridiculous. And as for the Prime Minister stirring it up, and then obviously protecting the other half, clearly two-tier policing, what do you expect? But the ridiculous thing is, right, yeah, we want our country back. We're going to do it by smashing up the Greggs and stealing sausage rolls and just general. It's just pathetic. Why would you do that? That's where it all goes wrong. But there's always going to be some opportunist idiots. Oh, fuck it, there's no old bill in that. There's thousands of us. I'll smash into this shop and steal stuff, which is just the wrong way. I know. By all means, have a fight, but leave all the infrastructure alone, for fuck's sake. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But they're morons, and again, just much like on both sides, when you get packs of them, pack mentality ensues, just like it does with the police when there's a big gang of them.
Yeah,
talk about
mentality.
Robinson.
Well, people are mugs, but I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Talk about Tommy Robinson here.
Well, you can if you want, yeah.
Yes, because the thing is with Tommy Robinson that he is actually paid by the Zionists, and we have videos where he's admitting it. And when he was sitting in the prison, it was the Zionist association that was paying for his rent and giving money to his family, and he is a Zionist. He is admitting that too. The problem is here, for me, it seems like the Zionists, they are making all this happen. They put their problem out everywhere. Yeah. What happens in Israel, it's going to happen here too. Here in Sweden it's happening, in England it is happening. They split us up against these Muslims then, yeah. But what I'm seeing here, it is that there is no synagogue that's getting attacked or nothing like that. No one is saying anything about the Zionists and their role in the whole thing, because that is not a small thing. It is pretty big what they are doing, and they are steering up the pot. I don't say that Tommy Robinson, he is not a patriot, that he's not looking after England or anything. But first of all, he's a Zionist. That's where he pledged his alliance to the Zionists, not to England. That comes second hand. Then you have to think about it. Why is it like this? Yeah.
Well, he's being paid, isn't he, to pretend about all the English and stir up all the morons, and he does a good job.
But maybe he's not pretending.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
But it just shows you, doesn't
paid. It? Yeah. So he is basically compromised by them.
Yeah. Absolutely, he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the thing is that I agree with him in so many things, But when I see the video interview with him, when they ask him, "Are you a Zionist?" and he said, "Yes, I'm a Zionist," and they ask further stuffs, and he's not denying anything there, you know. But he's first of all he's a Zionist, then he's an Englishman. That's how it is with that guy, and I don't understand how you can pledge alliance to two nations at the same time.
Yeah. Sorry, Anders, I was just reading a comment there from
No, that's me.
Mr. Dad.
That's sorry. I was breaking up your speech there, you know.
No,
but
it's all right. I was probably talking bollocks anyway.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, my mum always told me to play to my strengths.
Yeah.
So for those, I've just brushed up on Zionism just to see what it does say when you search for Zionism, and two
Just
paragraphs.
taking a quick course.
Yeah. For those that are unclear or not so clear, I can read this. I wanted to get it right. I don't want to give you my opinion. I want to give you the opinion of what happens when you search. And I've done a quick search on Zionists, and it says, I'll give you two different readings. One is just a few sentences. It says, fundamental to Zionism is the belief that Jews constitute a nation and have a moral and historic right and need for self-determination in Palestine. This belief developed out of the experiences of European Jewry, Jewry, which the early Zionists believed demonstrated the danger inherent to their status as a minority. And then another little paragraph, it says Zionism, political ideology, Wikipedia, so beware. Zionism is an ethno-cultural nationalist movement that emerged in Europe in the late 19th century and aimed for the establishment of a Jewish state through the colonization of land outside of Europe. And to close down,
thievery.
To close down, in the early days, Matthew in Sheffield introduced me to something called the Talmud. I didn't believe what he was saying. I could not believe what he was saying. And so I had to research, and I did a lot of research on this back then, but I can't articulately, verbatim tell you what the Talmud has got in it. But if you research the Talmud for yourself, you will be as disgusted as the next man that isn't Jewish, Semitic faith. That in itself is a stark contrast to the banking sector and the Goldbergs, Goldsteins, etc. And I'll be careful with that.
Steady.
Yeah, I know. I'm not trying to, but it's just it's as real as it is. Yep. So it's not intended to. We're staying away from that for tonight. But yeah, those that may be aware of certain controversy. Yeah, we'll do that another time. We'll stick on
but to be fair, David, 60% of the Zionists, they're Christians. That's the biggest problem, because they don't know, they don't see it. They actually think that there is a Judeo-Christian church. It is not.
I was just searching for Judeo-Christian because I had Santos Bonacci echoing, reminiscing, going, it's the Judeo-Christians and the such things as. Yeah, well done. Yeah, that's exactly what I was searching for. Sorry, I'm on a farm and there's animals everywhere, so I'll mute when I can. All right, to keep the extra noise down.
Out in the barn.
Yeah, it's another world. It really is. It's so quiet. No police sirens, no ambulances. It's just peaceful, except obviously the guard dogs that they have on the farms. Horses running around, not chained up in the back garden. 4 kittens that they've found that the family have now adopted. That we've got sat next to me. It's just beautiful. We don't have any land in England. This is another problem with our, I'm splintering off, but mental state, welfare state, food, produce, the amenities that we have or don't have. Yes, others that are privileged have more than others. We don't. Yeah, we live in cities crammed up on top of each other. No gardens for everybody. Some people have land, some people don't. Living in tower blocks. If the supermarkets crashed, where would we be? We are at the mercy of commercial law and corporations, aren't we? Government legislation telling us what we can and can't do, when really we're not really forced to follow that. There are exemptions to that. There are ways and means of circumnavigating, which is why we in the early days focused on status, standing and capacity, persons, public, private. We're in the public, general public, the status of military terminology. So what's the answer to the problems, the legal problems that we find civilly, legal problems and issues that we face, restrictions and abilities to do or not to do in the public? The answer would be in the private. The opposite to the public is the private. So that's why the private is important to us, and we believe has the answer to a lot of these issues. But even so, we recognise in the grand scheme of things that moving to the private will not solve the world's problems. No, coming together, as Kevin said earlier, and recognising each other's individual qualities and bringing ourselves together, to unite with our qualities. There's more that we have in common than separates us. So yeah. Christianity's got
exactly what they want.
For.
Oh my
Sorry.
God, yeah. Absolutely. The worst.
Judaism, Jewish scripture, the Old Testament, the New Testament, which version of the Bible? Yeah, two religions. Hell being added to the Bible in 80. I'm watching some Billy Carson clips now. Billy Carson's going around a lot, isn't he? You may or may not be aware, but he's talking about certain aspects of the Bible, Jesus, the scriptures, hell, heaven, if there is such a thing, the power that you have to command the universe, 11 dimensions. Amazing. I don't always agree with what he says and how he says it, but he's got some good knowledge. He's got some good, ideas about true religion, one true religion. He's picking up on a lot of stuff. Like I've heard him quote Alan Watt, Neville Goddard. He's done his research. I don't know everything of what he speaks of. I can't. Nobody can. But between us all, it was interesting for him to pick up that a certain man hell added to the Bible in 1839, and why that was added, and the power of the fear. He basically summarised his little 20-minute segment, this like YouTube clip that I saw, saying that they allowed hell, the Vatican, the scholars, the papacy, etc. The institution of Christianity itself allowed hell to be added, because then obviously people that want to try to indemnify themselves in case there is a hell go to church and donate. And having a religion where you can go somewhere and say that you're sorry for your sins and drop some money in a pot and absolve yourself from that is a great way for somebody to be able to commit sins regularly, go against morals and ethics of society, knowing that they can just give some money and save themselves from purgatory and hell and certain things. And it was a great breakdown, and we are in a time now of great reform. Crossroads of many. So I just wanted to add that in there, that there's a lot of disclosure happening, and there's a lot of intelligent thought leaders and souls coming to the table, emanating, their opinion, their insight into all of this as well. So disclosure is what we need, and there's a lot of it happening, isn't there? So it's not all doom and gloom, and there are some fantastic souls out there bringing some brilliant, articulate knowledge and cross-examining, referencing, bringing their thoughts and opinions. Billy Carson seems the type that, like us, he's done a lot of research. He loves it, what he does. He tries to give a lot of it away for free, and he brings to the table what his opinions are. And I just find it quite mind-blowing, actually, and very, very much happy to see that there is a lot more of this being talked about. But we need to remember that when we have something such as religion, Christianity, for instance, and the opinions on that, Judeo-Christian, all types of denominations of the Christianity, religions and faith, if we say that this is not right and it's wrong, we've been lied to, it's been edited, it's been put in such a way to control the masses, add fear, such as burning in hell, purgatory, etc., doomed, sin. If you prove that that's wrong and you take that away, you're going to leave a void. And I'm just worried, we're worried that that void would then, if it's left to be a void, you need something to fill that. Your own personal Jesus is taken away, and that would lead to a breakdown in society if we don't have an alternative or something to put in its place, because I'm not saying it's a good thing, Christianity and religion, but if you look in the past, it hasn't done society harm in a way as much as what it could have done. It kind of helped society. It was the glue, but now, yeah, we can see that it has caused a lot of harm in many other ways, so it was a good thing initially, maybe the true Christian ways, and over the years it's been adulterated, changed to suit and millions of pounds. Money, again, comes down to the money, the rich.
It's been misused by the Catholic Church, because they was creating natural law. They was actually doing that. And if you look at natural law, then we're going to be judged by humans. That's not how it is. We should be judged by God. We should follow the 10 Commandments, That's the original law. That's what the Bible says. So it's quite correct there. But then it's been compromised through the times, and the Catholic Church that says that they have the right to interpret what God is saying. So they can change all the rules. That's what they have been doing with the Sabbath, They was changing it from Saturday to a Sunday. And there is loads of all this stuff, that you see that the Catholic Church is involved. So I would blame the Catholic Church. I wouldn't blame the Bible, because that's where we have the 10 Commandments. That is the reason why we are sitting here with a law system and everything, because everything starts there. Somebody took over the law system. Somebody took over that they are the gods. And it used to be small village systems. The villages, they were judging each other's. That's why you had juries. That was people that know you, that could give you an good judgment, because they actually know you. So yeah. So that's what I see. The Bible is really important for the law system, and everything is written there. The moral, everything. That's my rant. So.
I'm just scanning on the room there, my man. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, indeed. Agreed.
Yeah, yeah, Ben, I haven't read it all. I've got the gist of it, but it doesn't make. I'm not surprised. I mean, it's basically we're going to be American style-y, because that will remove all the ecclesiastical stuff from the jurisdiction of law, etc. So there'll be that separation, and that's when it gets even more dangerous. But there again, the church being involved, they're just as corrupt as anybody else, and not that we've benefited from their. You can't do that. That's ungodly. What, they're being sucked off by the choir boy. Sorry.
Well, it's not a lie, is it?
No, it isn't a lie.
Well, and how much do we tolerate? How much do we put up with? There comes a time where this is the next angle, isn't it? How do we assert our authority? How do we let the powers that be know that they have no more powers over us, or we do not consent, we don't condone? It's more like a dictatorship, isn't it? As such, the prisons full releasing of the prisoners to make space. It's just ludicrous. It really is. It's like, oh, what? Really? Are we reading this right? Is this the plan? Is this the best you've got? We're going to release some foreign prisoners to lock up our own for civil issues and what?
More rapists. Excellent. Steve, evening, mate. Hope you and Dee and the family are okay, mate.
Stephen, yeah. Hi. And Andy.
Oh, yeah, Andy's in the house as well, Mr.
Yeah.
Taylor.
Leave my rights alone. I've been called a fat bag of feces recently, referred to as a fat bag, overweight bag of feces, and this will leave my rights alone. Which one of the Teletubbies are you, Indy?
Yeah, exactly. It was such what a ridiculous. I thought, I wonder if he's confused me with David. I'm the fat one.
This is the Windows XP Bliss desktop background with the sunshine on it, just to be different.
The sun looking up at the chemtrails in the sky.
Is that your son, David?
Oh, bless.
Is that your son, David?
No. I refuse to play this game. Wait there. What about this one? This is more fitting for the sign of the times, isn't it?
Better. That's much
there
better.
We go.
That's much more apt.
Bombshells coming. Let's have a look at the room and yeah, I'll carry on. I did say if there's any questions or comments, I'll mute because of the dog. Yeah, divide does one thing. It divides, yeah. Divide and conquer. That is what we're seeing. Diversity divides came on. Easy, yes. We see, and that's a part of the problem as well, isn't it? When you have this multi-ethnicity communities setting up, we're not integrating as such as well as we could do. The way that it's been handled, not by us, but by the powers that be, the establishment, the governments around the world, handling this, hotels, etc., where these poor souls go. I don't blame them for traveling around, and where systems are there to be used. And if you can go to a land which is going to offer you more, like the Americas did in the early days, why wouldn't you try to better yourself? But then the way that it's been handled, the way that it's been done, the unfairness of it all, given the unrest we've already got, it's you can only do so much, can't you? So people need to answer for what they've done. But remember, when we've looked at atrocities that have been committed, crimes against man, we're not going to list them all, but they don't really get held to account. They actually don't disclose. They have secrets acts. They don't publish certain things, like for instance JFK. Who's it? CIA, NSA, somebody, one of those groups of the American government won't disclose. The Central Intelligence Agencies won't disclose certain evidences, proofs of what's happened. There is no disclosure. Certain institutions, governments, diplomats, elect as such, have privacy, but we have no privacy. We ask for privacy, as similar to what others have and governments have, and those that I've mentioned, and they ask why we want privacy for surfing, shopping, commerce, and banking, whatever it is. It's like, no, you can't. Why? What do you want privacy for? Well, you have privacy. There's certain things that have not been disclosed by the UK government, by all governments around the world. And so, yeah, it is a two-tier system. Yeah, we definitely see that there is a disadvantage, and it's time that we got together, all races, all creeds of the seeds, and worked out, pulled our resources, and overcome this. of power. I've got something somewhere at the back of my mind about the power, but I can't think of it, so I'm going to yield.
What we see here in Sweden when the foreigners they are coming, it is that they are getting pension here. Many of them they don't have to work, so they get pension directly, you know, and then they are moving home back to their home countries, and they receive their pension there. And that is pretty unfair, you know, because they actually receive more money in pension than a Swedish pensioner would do, actually. So
I think it's all done on purpose.
it is, and this is made for us to start this big race war, or religious war, Muslims against Christians. And while they are doing that, who is the orchestrator there? Who is the one with that stick, you know, holding the beats, you know, tick, 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 orchestrating everything, you know? So who is winning on all this? I mean, see through all this. Lay away the Muslims and the Christians. Look who is there, standing in the middle there, doing all this. But you don't see them because they're right in the crowd and hiding. And many of them, I've seen so many videos of the English white guys that is pretending to be jihadist and things that was searched by FBI and everything. And I'm thinking, fucking hey, that's a psyop, you know?
Yeah.
Making it so people, because it shows up that he was an informant for MI6, but then he was going over to CIA, I think, because he wanted more protection. There was something like that. But they leaved him out in the cold, you know. So now he's fucked, you know. And they all are doing this. It's all patsies doing all the work. So we don't see who the real guys is, you know. And it's always lonely guys. They didn't have friends. They are the killers. They are the one doing all this. So you can't see anything. There is no trails to them. Yeah, and they was under medication also. All of them. So it's like, no, I see it as a big game, but I see who is orchestrating that game now. Like that, I don't know if it's Alice in Wonderland or if it's the other girl, the magician there behind the curtains, you know, that nobody sees. Everybody think he's a big monster, but it's them. It's them, the Zionists. And they are sitting there behind the curtains. They are the orchestrators. So that's how I see it.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know about John David Pawson. Someone's asked in the chat room then, have you heard of David Pawson? So I've just done a search then, and Simone, I believe that was Nyman, of the family Nyman. No, but I'll make a note of that, and I shall be looking, because I found somebody called Billy Graham on the true meaning of the cross through one of these chats with you guys. So, yeah, thank you for that. I will carry on. Someone's asked about the issues with White Rabbit. They will be, because of what's happening. I'm on holiday at the minute. I'll deal with that and give it my full attention when I return home. There has been some questions asked by someone called Simone about why I've not answered an email because I'm on holiday. Somebody posted to me privately the post from White Rabbit, man named, commonly known as Simon, about what his public post said and the claims within that. So then I've responded to that claim that Simon put publicly, aka Spaniard, on Facebook. So then you're seen the fallout from that. So it is what it is, you know. We're not really letting it be too negative in this time because I'm abroad and with my family. But yeah, so I will give that the full attention. And you know, I'm sad to see things have gone that way. But I did write a post. I am the instigator in some respects. Freedom of speech. Man like David wrote a post, and I put my thoughts and feelings down, rightly or wrongly. I've expressed how I felt and what I'm seeing within the intellectual freedom thought movements and those doing that, gurus and etc., offering remedy. And I put those names in there because a few of you have come to me privately and said, I wouldn't have those on a sovereign council, and these are the reasons why I wouldn't consider entertaining these souls, because and from our own opinions as well. So I'll leave that there. You know, it is what it is, and it will be dealt with, and it will be apparent to all what's happened.
I'd like to say I think the guy's a plonker, and he's not in my friends. And I looked on Facebook, and I'm not in his friends thing, so like I can see loads of posts where he's called out many over. I don't know, because I don't go on Facebook, but it did me to go on and see what he was talking about, you know, and see the comments or whatever. And I went and I just like I thought, you know what? How has he got the audacity to be calling out everyone? Do you know what I mean? It's like, what's your game, mate? Yeah, because that's what it is. It's a bit of a game. That's what I think. Yeah, he's got nothing else to say, so he calls out people, you know, or other souls.
Thank you, Bert. I don't believe I broke the law or done anything even illegal. Go on. Sorry.
No, it was ridiculous claims as well. Just completely, you know, untrue is the kindest. It's just what? So yeah, I don't know. Something's got his knickers in a twist, but
if you look at his post, Kev, yeah, he seems to get his knickers in a twist a lot. So he needs to upgrade his size.
Yeah, I have seen. I have seen over the years. He's a bit like that, but I don't know. As I say, there's all this. There's other stuff that's gone on in the background as well. So
yeah,
I don't know, maybe
I've got my ear to the ground. There's been numerous talks about what he's up to. Many are not happy, you know. So
no, there's a fair bit of info coming today, doesn't it?
Mate. Yeah, fade into the background.
That's it. Sit back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or he does something stupid to the wrong one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll get stupid, and it's just pointless, really, all of it. But there you go. You know, you'd have thought somebody like him would have just left it. You'd think.
Well, I'd have thought somebody
what's
like
the point?
I'd have thought somebody of that caliber would have waited for me to respond to the email. It was sent on the 26th of July. I left on holiday for the 21st of August. We left, and I returned. Sorry, it was sent on the 26th of August because we're only on the 6th of July. So now we're in. Oh God, Lord, see, I've holiday head. I'm not even drunk. It was sent in July, the 26th or the 28th. It's now the 6th of August. I cottoned onto it when privately admins let me know that there'd been a public post made because I've not answered an email that was sent. That time, late July, beginning of August. I had to respond. Well, I didn't have to, but I left it a couple of days. I thought, this is a new David. Yes, a few years ago, I'd have been putting 3 hours or so in there and giving it all my attention. Where your attention goes, energy flows. So I've learned over the years, and I thought I'll simmer, I'll let it manifest itself, and I'll see what I want to do and how I want to respond rather than reacting straight away. So that's what I've done. I didn't answer an email because I was on holiday. Simon's not had an answer from me, so he's decided to make a public post from what I've said in that post, probably about April time. So he's been given, and I did say when I wrote that tongue-in-cheek, sarcastic, damning post of my thoughts and opinions at the time, rightly or wrongly, mostly rightly, I would say. I'm going to be biased on that. And I said, you may take this and screenshot it and pass it to these souls named and say that it's the penmanship of a man like David. Someone's gone and done that, and now he's not happy. So tough titty, sticks and stones may break my bones, but your words will never hurt me. But it seems in this day and age, words, sippy cup, hurt your feelings. Oh no. I'm going to litigate the shit out of you, he said, because you've hurt my feelings. Well,
Safe space.
What really surprised me is that he don't know anything about the GDPR laws. That you can't ask for your personal details out on an open chat and ask people to send in details where you are living. Yeah, all the details about you, your names and everything, you know. That is not allowed. That's how I see it, you
The
know.
right to silence, yeah, data control, data management, yes, anybody, malicious communications, you're
Yeah.
right, you've got to be very careful, no consent. Yeah, well said, Anders. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, good point. You should know that, 101. Anyone should know that.
I've had to delete that geezer's post out of SPLs before because it was misleading information.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
The
And I got
procrastinating sovereign.
Yeah.
You haven't missed anything. It hasn't even started yet, so strap yourself in.
I love that. That screen name is so good. It's just procrastinate, putting things off. Yes, that's me as well. That's why I like it. Last minute. Oh, like this seminar. So if you didn't hear at the beginning, we're planning a seminar, and that's going to be between late August to early September, and we'll give you details
still in
on
the
that.
Planning phase.
No, it isn't. We've
it's
got
like,
a venue. All we need is some dates. We're going. It's
like one of our the planning of this one is a bit like one of our long goodbyes, isn't it?
David, pack your holiday in. Come on, plan it.
Yeah.
It's done. Doing it mobile. We've been talking about it for 12 weeks plus. We said it was going to be in Wales. Guess what? It's going to be in Wales. We said it was going to be mid to late August, mid-September. And no dates are the same.
An hour?
So if you want to turn up, get in touch with us.
It'll take us ages to get across Wales. 20 mile an hour on all the roads.
Oh, 20 mile. Really? Is that what's happened since I've been away?
Yeah. Well, I don't know where you've been.
Where have you been? Yeah. Jesus.
But I actually heard that the cheapest prices is in the end of September, and I can come on the 18th, you know.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah,
go on.
No.
Talking about speed, I was in the got a hire car from near the airport where we landed, and I'm traveling down, and I realised I was like 200. What in MPH is 200 kmh? Because I realised I was doing 200 kmh in the hired car because I was tired and in a rush. In MPH, because I thought this thing's going to have a tracker on it, isn't it? And I was like, oh, that's this. Why is it when we're on holiday you always drive like a maniac? I'm like, because it's a hire car. It's not mine. Everyone, this standard. This is what you do. You drive it, and we're in a rush. We've got your mum here. We've got Yank and me, the sister. There was 5 of us. 350
120.
Yeah, it's not that bad, but still, I realised I've not even done that in England ever.
124.
Yeah, now that says 200 kmh. I went, oh, sorry. LPG as well. It's petrol, and you can have LPG fuel, and the LPG is half price of the petrol. You don't really notice any difference. And I was like, do I recall the UK government asking anybody or incentivizing, as these, you're on about speed restrictions, London, Cannes, emissions, clean air zones. Out here, everybody's on the LPG. It's like standard. Nobody's using benzene or diesel or anything, petrol, diesel, LPG all the way. I'm like, why hasn't England promoted this? Why am I seeing this out in Europe? But in England, if we had LPG, I'm sure that would be a lot more accessible, practical for families instead of petrol hybrids.
Yes.
Well, there you go. Brilliant.
And the engines last forever because there is no carbon built up in the engines. So the engine oil, after 1 year, you are checking the oil. It is still light brown, see-through. It is not that black oil. So it saves everything in the engine. It's really good.
Did not know that, but thank you. And also, if it can run on LPG and petrol, then I'm thinking surely I could modify it for a hydrogen burn. Surely we could have a hydrogen burn going off here as well, then, and modify it from LPG, just hydrogen it basically instead.
Yeah.
No, but you can mix it. You can mix it because yes, because you can't produce so much hydrogen so you can drive the car in a normal fashion, you know, because then you have to have the compressors on and compress that gas before, you know, you have to start it half an hour before you're driving, things like that. But if you do it so you put it together with LPG gas, then it's going to be much more effective, you know.
Well, like a hydrogen on demand as an engine accessory and add on to the LPG primary fuel, and then add on demand engine accessory hydrogen. Yeah, we'll get there. Just wanted to add that as well. I can't fault it. It's brilliant. It's absolutely amazing. 20 quid will get you 400 because it was empty. I had a full tank of petrol in it. I know we're digressing, but it may help people. It might be of interest. It might not. But I'll hurry up. The petrol, full tank and no LPG. So when I put the LPG and filled it all the way up, cost £18, and it will give 420 kilometres for that £18. So happy days. Technology. You see, technology, there's advancements in military technology, but in what we need in the communities, and that is very slow, isn't it? It's almost non-existent, incremental, drip-fed progress, where the military industrial complex and so forth, commerce, get it straight away. Bullshit.
Yeah, about 70 years ahead of what we get.
So, really?
Approx, yeah. Probably more in some areas and less in others, but I think it averages out to about that.
Let's see what this does. Wow. Let's have a look at the chat room. Yeah, go on.
Yes, Stephen is writing case law Neil versus DPP.
DPP, yeah.
The right to silence.
Yeah, that was some years ago now, when during COVID or something, just before, was it? I can't remember now when we found that, because we had, what was the one before that one? The famous
Bell
one.
versus Tavistock.
Yeah, but it wasn't Corona. It was something else. That when you get a letter from a debt collection agency, they automatically say, "Don't quote this case law because it's not relevant." Oh man, I kicked myself now. But yeah, it was the rights to silence, your duties and obligations. Oh, it don't matter. But in fact, it does matter, because it's going to piss me off all night. Stop me from sleeping. I'll find it you now. But yeah, brilliant. What's he saying? Why has he put that? Stephen's put that.
Right to silence. I think it speaks for itself, and the case of it.
Yeah, you posted that on the 23rd of February 2021. We had that, and there's a massive text there by brother Kevin in the Facebook SPLs, which will be transferred into the .com as well. Yeah, I'll find it in a minute.
Yeah, Bell v Tavistock, I think, was about consent or something, and then there was wasn't it?
Rice versus Connolly, 1966.
That's Rice Connolly, 66 is
Go to that one.
And then we had the other one about not having to give you details, didn't we? Which was, it come to me in a minute.
You'll know you if you don't know.
I
No,
don't
look,
know how you remember it, mate. Yeah.
well, nor do I. But this stuff seems to just flow out, especially the
Yeah.
legislation with DWP and stuff. Oh, and other stuff, and it just seems to come out of nowhere when I'm happen to be talking about it. I even amaze myself sometimes.
Yeah.
How did-
I forget it. I have to write it down and then go back to it. A lot of the great bits I cognise, but when it comes to case law, yeah, you've got to document that and stuff like that. I know a few, but can't recite any, like, they're right at the back of my brain, mate.
Well, there's a lot, and that's the trouble with this game. There's so much information.
Yeah, yeah,
That's why I sort of tend to, when a
Good Lord.
particular issue comes up, I go and look at the legislation
yeah.
for that. Then I don't sort of go just generally looking for stuff. I deal with it when I
Likewise.
have to,
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
Like me recently, I've retraced the the council tax enforcement, and
Yeah.
there's a regulation in there. I've took a screenshot of it to remind
Yeah,
myself.
but number 5, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was
Did
it.
you-
Number 5,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure what section. I forget. But yeah, it's basically of what you can ask them immediately, and if they haven't got
Yeah.
it, then they have to about
It's
turn
the
and
authority,
bugger
isn't
off.
it? They've got to
Yeah,
show you the letter of
yeah.
authority.
And then with that, I was looking for the exact text that was on there because it talks
Yeah,
about amounts. Because
that's
they
right.
will come with a standard thing. They won't have the amounts that they're supposed to levy on it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's like a good bullet to have in your gun. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
If
yeah,
whoever comes marching, yeah,
I screenshotted that
yeah,
myself today. I read it and I thought that's very interesting. That's a keeper. Thanks
yeah,
very much.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's even the I suggest many souls, their local borough, just do like a freedom of information for the ministerial approved cameras in their borough
Yeah,
and see what comes back and what
I'll go on,
cameras.
Bert.
Because
Yes, go on.
I think it will uncover, like, if you've been done by a CCTV, like, where they've planted it and you turn right and they've put no turning right there, or any nonsense like all that, they've got to be approved and they're on a list. So you get that list and then you can cross-reference. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying how to cheat the system or whatever, but nowadays they're throwing these cameras up to capture people, and a lot of them are not really doing it lawfully. So they're just they're throwing the camera up, not getting it approved, and then enforcing and dishing out tickets and all that. So something to look
so
at.
yeah,
The freedom of
yeah,
information, ministerial approved cameras. Yeah.
I was
See what
hearing
comes up.
that you could actually call the camera to court as a witness, and then they are saying, "No, you can't do that." No, that's really sad then, because you have the right to meet your accuser, that witness.
well,
So
that's it. That's the whole
yeah,
thing. There isn't one.
yeah.
There
That's
isn't
why it
one.
stems
The
back.
machine can't be a witness,
No. Yeah.
but
No,
they're not going to allow you that because you're not in the realm where they have to.
Yeah,
So
but
just
you
just
see,
hold that there.
they do have
Yeah,
guys monitoring them, and they will make a witness statement on some of it now, because I think that's come up quite a lot, and they're trying to iron out their creases like they do, like the single justice procedure now. They're trying to iron out that a bit because they know
yeah,
it doesn't work. A lot of the time they're in cahoots, all that kind of thing. So they have
yeah,
to harden up and sharpen up their game, and they have been. The computer systems are all changing everything. They've invested a lot of cash behind the scenes in the computer system. You look that up. They upgraded all their
yeah.
systems. Yeah.
I bet they are. Bastards.
Yeah, because if you talk about witnesses then and facts, if you had a generic standard Ford Escort, and you say that you were somewhere else at the time and you could not have been where that vehicle is alleged to have been, where this controversy has happened, you could argue that the number plates could have been cloned and that it's the same vehicle, but it's not yours. It looks like mine. It's got the same registration plates on, and it could well be mine, but I was somewhere else at the time, so I believe the number plates have been cloned. Let's ask the camera.
Yeah.
Or another one, what we would say is a burden of proof is on the claimant, and they would say that the V5 registered keeper is sent notice of the intended prosecution, controversy, whatever it is at the time. And you would say, we can't be sure with a clear conscience who may or may not have been travelling that day. The V5 registration document does not prove ownership. You're just a keeper, the keepership of it, your legal duties, possessory title. We would require of whom this claim is against, because there's multiple drivers, travellers, whatever you want to say. If you're commercial, private, make that call. Generally, it's private travelling. And there's various drivers, so which one is the claim against? And they circumnavigate all of that justice procedure law, in fact, common law, and say, yeah, it's you, the V5 keeper, you're responsible, you're guilty, you haven't been judged by a jury of your peers.
Surely, you know
Okay.
what I've recently, David, I've spoke with TVLA, and a car is really out in the public, commercial. So I'm looking, and I've spoke to them, so I'll report back. Do you know what I mean? But it's something that I'm just testing the water with, of moving the car out of a commercial realm. So they can't give out no data to corporations and all that. Obviously under data protection and all the stipulations that are there, but asserting it, because I've let them get away with it quite a lot, and I'll report back how it goes.
Before we move on then, for those that are interested, the right to silence, when we talk about these kind of subjects and controversies, and they affect many of us in our daily lives, the evidential rule, which places the burden of proof on the prosecution that they should prove the defendant's guilt beyond reasonable doubt. DPP Wellington versus DPP 1935, Wool, WOOL, IM for Mikey, IN for November, GTON principle. That is a cornerstone of criminal law in England. Such a presumption of innocence means that there is no obligation on the accused to produce evidence or to testify. An accused person involved in a criminal investigation has traditionally been afforded or accorded a right to silence, sometimes termed a privilege against self-incrimination. Over the States, you would call it the Fifth Amendment. You might recall seeing a short video of Shut the Fuck Up Friday on the channel that we like to promote on Fridays, just to highlight that fact. What else is there? The accused is under no general duty to assist the police with their inquiries. Rice versus Connolly, as we said in 1966. I've got loads, but that'll do. That'll get you going there. You do have to do the research yourself and be careful on what you're doing. So no adverse inferences were generally permitted to be drawn from the exercise of the right to silence, either by a suspect under investigation, Hall versus R, I believe that would be Regina, maybe, 1971, or by an accused person at his trial. Single justice procedure. They don't do trials. Halsbury's administrative courts. What? The jury fears no such chance of that. So let me just read that again. No adverse inferences were generally permitted to be drawn from the exercise of the right. Ooh, that's a strange noise. I think I'm about to be attacked by a pterodactyl.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
What the hell is that? Either by a suspect under investigation or by an accused at his trial, Section 1B of the Criminal Evidence Act 1898, Section 1. So it's amazing, isn't it? The tiny little things that you learn that can actually save the day. I know you've done something there, Bert, and you've overturned something. I don't know if you want to continue on and share in general terms a success, or if you want to keep it private, that's so be it. But we do see that sometimes if we insist on due process and we assert our rights, reserve and retain, and insist upon due process and law being followed, things often turn around to the situation of which you favour.
In a few words, it's single justice procedure, isn't it? Which is like,
no justice at all.
Yeah, that's what it is. The assumptions and presumptions they've already made and determined the outcome already before you've.
Yeah,
it's like, hold on a minute, who signed up to that? So, and when they're informed of certain things that still exist, and that they seem a lot of the time in cahoots with each other, they seem to not like it.
No.
Recently, I backed down on one of mine. Yeah. Well, not mine, but someone else's who had a result. Yeah. From us helping.
And I like the way
here in the chat now that Stephen was writing here. PFET form brings the camera to court. All speeding gets dropped. So so it sounds good. He said he was just removed that for a girl. 3 dot crossing charges, all dropped.
Yeah, well, dark charge, I'll tell you something. If you go over there on the wrong day, so say you go on a Friday, you're expected to pay that on a Sunday, and they'll issue a ticket once it's failed. But in effect, under the bills of exchange, which Stephen in the group is basically familiar with, and obviously highlighted a lot of the bills of exchange, and that is, it's not business hours, so you don't have to operate in commerce with your person making transactions, because that is a business transaction. So out of it, when they do send you it, if it happened over that weekend, you can dismiss it just under one rule from the bills of exchange. Yeah.
Nice.
I like your background, David.
And I thought I'd switch it up a bit while I'm there. I'm having a look to see about single justice procedure notices. I like the fact. I don't like the fact.
There's a reform coming to it. They're crafting it right now, so they can, get whatever cash, cow that's going to basically fund whatever. Yeah, because it's I don't know what to make of it really. So, because it goes against all principles, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're guilty, charged, and cough up like you're a cash cow. Like
commercial law, when we talk about that, that's why the maxims are the maxims of commercial law. Commercial law has taken precedent amongst our land and amongst our communities when we're not commercially active. And this is the loggerhead that we come to when we look at this legal controversies and we look at law. When I asked ChatGPT version 2 or 3 to explain the difference between legal and law, he broke it. He didn't know what to do. It took 3 attempts for it to get it, out, and it got it out in garbled shit. So it said sorry.
It was confused itself.
It did. And when I pointed it out, I said, you've used law to describe legal, and then you've described law with law and legal as well. But aren't they 2 separate jurisdictions? It went, wait a moment, let me have a look at what I've said. Yes, you're right. I shall rephrase my answer. And what it gave me wasn't acceptable either. I went, I don't believe that's correct either.
Did you review
But that's why they're putting these out there. They're getting it. It's like to get us to test it, isn't it? So they can see what the masses are going to do, so they can trim and fix
so
it.
you just helped them along, assisted.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, we all
you bastard. You're part of the system, Dave. We knew it.
We're all part of the system. To resist is to assist, remember, because resistors are in a computer system with an electronic current charge, and that charge is only allowed, well, that computer system, that circuit, that electronic device will only work if it has resistors in there to resist that charge. So resistance is assistance. You take out the resistor, us, then there is no circuit. The device won't work because it's missing resistors, yeah. So therefore, if we take ourselves out of it, which is the ultimate aim, not to take part, not to be exempt from, then it won't work, will it?
Fucking hell, Dave, I've got a semi.
So,
I'll tell you, Kev, you're going to get us banned and kicked off.
have you not heard of the Wimbledon's men's semis? I thought you was a keen advocate of the Wimbledon men's semis. Yeah,
what?
It's a regular national event. Strawberries and cream. With your semi.
Sorry.
Just cream.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's look at the room quick.
Wimbledon. No wonder it rained.
Yeah. Golden rain. What's that?
That's all I do know of Wimbledon. Tennis. Raining.
Salisbury's. Look at that reference by Stephen there. Brilliant.
Yeah.
What's that? All fines. All fees, pictures before conviction.
Salisbury's. Yeah, Salisbury's commentary. Trustwood.
What was it? Say it, David.
It says Salisbury's. Pardon?
I'm not in the YouTube thing.
Yeah, I'll read it out. It says from Stephen, it says page 126, Salisbury's Laws of England, Trust Reversionary, 2007, Article 691 to Article 700, Constructive Trusts. You can appoint trustee the son taught. In REM jurisdiction is what they use. Yes, in REM, REM. It's not rapid eye movement. It's something totally different. Latin. Paul Black, about your situation with Spaniard. I'm here to help. I love the group. Oh, Paul, bless up. Don't be concerned. Thank you. We'll let you know in due course more about that. I'm not concerned. Neither am I worried. It is what it is, and it will play out. Don't worry.
He seems a right plonker, the guy. You know. Yeah, calling everyone out like he's an excuse. I'll be naughty, Kev. Like his shit don't stink, you know?
Yeah, well, I say that always trips you up. You start doing that, then the dirt starts rising, as we've witnessed today ourselves. So, you know, it ain't nothing to worry about, Paul. It's all good, mate. I say it hasn't even really gone anywhere yet, or it's literally the slight mist. It might form into something. It might just disappear. Who knows?
From going on Facebook for the first time in God knows how long, I like to look. I see just loads. There's so many on there that he's calling out and saying this and saying that. So, yeah, just pure lunacy. Like, yeah.
There's no need for it. It's the thing.
No, yeah.
You know, it's like, why? You need some attention or something. You know, I don't get it. Anybody that does it, what's it all about? You know?
And then you want to talk about trust, clean hands, all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really? Be sovereign.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come off Facebook.
Talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's we'll
Grow
sort
up.
it
There's
out.
another one.
Yeah.
Has anybody seen the film, the Spaniard film, 1925 American silent drama?
No,
I
I
was
must
What
admit,
did
reading
I've
he
obviously
star
about
in?
it.
overlooked. I've overlooked that one.
Anders, what was that?
I was reading about it that the Spaniard, it was somebody that was undercover or something, some famous person too, almost.
Or maybe it's a hint. The universe sent us a
Yeah,
sign.
yeah, hen, a hen. We say here in Sweden, hen. Yeah, yeah.
So there's a few people in the chat that have actually proposed remedy. I see the procrastinating sovereign on about once you step out of the water and onto dry land and claim the right of the use through fieldi canisium, you're claiming your right to the use of the land. Tenant fee simple, absolute, as you're a life man. Life tenant, 1925 Law of Property Act, and also there's another
Sorry.
one there somewhere. We've looked at these fee simples, allodial titles, and there was somebody else up in the chat that did say something about some kind of remedy. If you return, Tony, of the Henderson clan, if you return your usufruct interest, usufructory roles and responsibilities and duties, plus all reversionary interest, and to give up all future earnings to HMRC, you become the beneficiary and the state the trustee. So if you've done that and you've moved from public to private and you've now got the the abilities to set off, discharge, endorse, etc., service debts, tender payments as they are, because we can only tender in this current fiscal system, then great, I'm happy for you. And if you want to contact us in private and talk about this, we would appreciate that. But it's not urgent because we have devised a way ourselves, a simple way to get remedy, and it ultimately lies upon the right to self-determination, and that's a cardinal right, the cardinal right to self-determination. You see nowadays the youth are determining themselves to be different species, different sexes, non-sexes. You know, there's a lot of respect going out from institutions and institutionalized governments, and there's a narrative, there's a rhetoric going off. You might argue that it's to do with a theory to do with population control, a higher agenda of sorts, and the way that we've come across this information. But you have the right to determine. You have certain rights of which you can enforce yourself. So I've devised a way, not devised a way, but found a pathway, a simple one, and using the evidence and materials that we've got, which we think are most pertinent, relevant, and straightforward. One's like remedy for all of us that everyone can use without having to do courses or learn, from others, tutors, simple understanding, not having to get anyone else to do it for you. The ones that anybody can do simply without the need for mass resources, pens, stamps, seals, coat of arms, crests, UCC, parse, syntax, quantum, correct sentence structure. You know where I'm going. We've kind of appreciate what you're saying, and without being ungrateful or disrespectful, we have tried and we are endeavouring to find a remedy and a solution and an exit where it's good for all, not just good for one. For instance, someone called Anna von Reitz came up with a remedy saying if you get your mum to do this and you do that, and power of attorney. And I immediately went, well, my mum's dead. She isn't. I wouldn't, I'm just going to say it for me. But what if my mum's dead? Then how do I get remedy? your remedy is shit because it's not good for me, So again, when souls come up with great sounding remedies, but then when you analyze them and think about them and meditate on them, you're like, it might work for some, but it might, it doesn't seem just right and proper. So we try to find a solution. Catch my drift.
Now I'm getting really disappointed here, David, because I'm sitting here with this proclamation, Lord Anders Ahlström, and I thought this one gonna help me. That's why I paid £7 or something, to be a lord. So you mean this is not gonna help me? Or all the stamps I've been buying, I can put on there. I thought they're gonna be magic, like a magic wand, help me out of everything. No, all this, it is like our Eli, I am having that for myself, and I'm having that to show that I'm together with an association as SPLS Pro, that we have a trust together. We take care of each other. That's what that shows for me. Plus, that it also shows that I'm recognized as a living human. That's why I'm having that. So it's not like an go out of jail free pass card or anything. I don't see it as that. I see it something for myself.
Yeah, good. Yeah, the titles are vital. We've said that all along. The titles that you claim, the entitlement that you allow to be given. Normally, it's Mister. So a decorative title for your person, Lord Anders, will elevate you, your person, that decorative title. But there's a separation between the person and the man. Exactly. So you know how to use them instruments. Them instruments are useful to you. So if you've elevated the title of your person, that's a good thing. It's not ultimately going to get you recognition anywhere else. Being a landowner, a lord, Lord Sovereign Anders, Sovereign Lord Anders. You can give yourself person, whatever man titles, but getting that recognition is the next step. So as you see within aristocracy, within the tiers of society, there are dames, viscounts, barons, kings, monarchs, bishops. They all have their positions and titles, and their entitlement of them titles allow them access to. So when we talk about status, standing, and capacity, yeah, it helps. It's something which takes years. It's not something which we've picked up overnight. It's a 10 to 15-year journey, and we're giving you shortcuts into information on which you may or may not find useful. And all we're doing is pointing out how society works, how the legal system works, how the ecclesia system works, the biblical system, the law system, and how all that integrates and how it is functioning. So you could argue that everyone has to follow the law, David, and you sovereigns are off your tits and you should just pay your bills and clear off. Well, okay, now let's talk about diplomats. Let's talk about Anne Secoulis killing an English boy called Harry Dunn, I believe it was, yeah, something like that, and fleeing to America scot-free. Now, everybody has to follow the law, David, but Anne Secoulis didn't, because she claimed titles of being a diplomat's wife, leaving an American military base, and absconding with the titles and rights of which she believed were due to her. And then in the justice system, when the presiding judge at the time ruled in Anne Secoulis's absence, yes, she was present in the States via video, and the judge in England at the High Court said, as Anne Secoulis has not surrendered herself to the jurisdiction of the court, there is nothing we can do. All we can do is make recommendations to the United States of America. Go research it for yourself. So you see, it is important, and it is real, and it is relevant, and us sovereigns are not off our tits. I yield.
Yeah, but what about Julian Assange then? Why wasn't the same rules going there?
He sought asylum in the thingy embassy. Which embassy was it now? Not Venezuelan. It was an embassy. So he did escape during jurisdiction-wise for a time. He seek salvage in the Ecuadorian, was it, embassy in London?
Yeah,
he stayed there for 7 years.
So.
Yeah. So he did, kind of, but he ultimately you're limited, aren't you? You're stuck in London. You might, as soon as you step out, it's trouble. So you spent a lot of time trying to fathom that out. And yeah, it's sometimes the miscarriages of justice and the ignorance is high. And even when you're right, and you know you're in the right, and certain things should happen, they don't. Grenfell murders. Nobody's been to prison. Crashing the economy. Bankers. Nobody went to prison. No charges. Nothing. Post office scandals. People died. Suicides. Nobody. You see. So 20 years of fighting for justice, being locked up. He'll be dead before he gets his justice in some ways. And yeah, it's a bit of a cloak and dagger scenario with Julian and what he's got. If he did get what he's got, if that is true and not a psyop, then he had to plead guilty to one charge, and it's all forgotten now, isn't it? It was a bit of a mess. So
I see Steve's put a question in. I'll just read it out, Dave. It does say it's for you. But anyway, it says, I believe the courts do not accept without prejudice. Does David know of this in the courts? What? So if you put something in marked without prejudice, Steve, is that the gist of what you're saying, and they won't have any of it?
well, I would be inclined to put with prejudice a lot of the
Well,
time.
I was, yeah. I've done with extreme prejudice on some stuff.
Yeah. So I would say, why are you putting, not to answer a question with a question, but I'm going to, why are you putting without prejudice? Because it should be in most, at that stage of the game, it should be with prejudice, or extreme, as you've put there, extreme prejudice. It's only in the alternative dispute resolution stages, or prior to, you know, at them points, it would kind of be, there's a time where you need to add prejudice and go with prejudice, isn't it?
Well, isn't it? Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't dealt with this subject for some serious time, but if it's without prejudice, it can't be used in the court, can it? Or considered?
Well, when I did my research and my mum stepped in and said, son, let me tell you this. And she said something along the lines of, prejudice is a legal term with different meanings. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. Which really?
I know, straight away. Which depend on whether it is used in criminal, civil, or common law. In legal context, prejudice differs from the more common use of the word, and so the term has specific technical meanings. Without prejudice meaning, in my opinion, would be something like, in other words, if the party says something that might be considered an admission against their interests, then they cannot be prejudiced by it if the parties later engage in litigation or, say, arbitration, tribunal proceedings, or another form of alternative dispute resolution. So there's, see what I said, the beginning of it, it's like the dispute resolution, alternative dispute resolution, Lord Wolf, CPR reforms. There's a time where you actually move from without prejudice to with prejudice, because the shit's hit the fan, and enough's enough. So, and it's about protection. But then that legal term that I just read you, that my mum said, again, it's not our system, it's not our club, it's not our language. It's foreign to us. We really should have to have like a foreign treaty or something, to be fair. You know, it gets to the point where as a nation, we need to get a grip of this en masse, and actually have it so our unborn lineage, our bloods, you know, our lines to come, don't have to go through all of this that we've gone through. We need to actually get some stability and security and some sanity in all of this legal bollocks. And if you've seen that post where I wrote about legal bollocks, it's to confuse and, you know, distract, and it's deceptive. So it's something which, if you start meddling in, dealing in, you need to be very careful. And even when you're right and you're on point, they will try to railroad you and subjugate you, and etc. And it's up to you to be able to stand and control. And even when you do, you can still get railroaded, and you need to appeal and go down further, you know, to higher courts, or, you know, as an appellant at the Supreme Court, and have it looked at again. You have to fight the shit out of it. to get where you want.
I have a question here.
So I hope that helps Stephen. Sorry, yeah, go on.
Yeah, the question is, I was speaking with you guys earlier before we was recording that I found some old laws here in Scania, the area here in Sweden where I'm living, that is allodial, and they are valid over time, so they can't be changed. And these laws are from I think the latest one is from the 1600. But I'm thinking, don't you have any laws there where all these smaller communities was going up into bigger communities? Like, for example, certain areas of England was going up in England, forming that kingdom. Where they were saying, if you are joining us, then you can still keep that law and that law and that law. And I believe those laws are alloidal, as valid over long time. They will never change. Don't you have anything like that that can be looked at? That is just a question I'm having.
Kevin, but I don't know.
Well, yeah, we've got Bill of Rights and all sorts of stuff, but I say nobody's recognising it. This is your problem, because But the Constitution, even though we haven't got a written one, as I say, closest things the Bill of Rights. Funny thing is, we've written plenty for countries in the Commonwealth, but not for our own.
Like when you say that, you say, yeah, you're right in a way. In my opinion, the American Constitution is codified, so that it's numbered, and you've got the codified Constitution. It's simple as that. It's as real as it is. England, UK, sorry, England and the UK have got a non-codified constitution, and that is within the legislation, the arms of the legislative law. So when we say there's like three primary jurisdictions, which would be an administrative jurisdiction, a legislative jurisdiction, and a judicial jurisdiction, the Constitution for us and our rights and our retainment would be found within all of that. But we do not promote that use of legislation because it's not for us. It's not our way to resolve. We are not in government. We're not paid for government to be working. We're not in the law society. The legislation would be used by us to hold those in office to account and to use them by, tell them that their own rules. Oh, little Dean just want to come on YouTube, Dean, say hello to them. Oh, the backdrop's ruining it. One of the four little one sat next to me. So yeah, we would quote that, not for like the Bill of Rights and things. And so I've never used the Bill of Rights ever in my life. I've never used any constitutional arguments. I have used legislation to point out the fallacies, failures, impositions, duties, responsibilities, and etc. by those in office that are held accountable to follow that. Whereas I'm not. And if you can prove that I am, then so be it. My person might be, but I'm not a person. I'm not allowed to be a person. What do you mean? And go down those routes. So allodial title, fee simple, corporeal, incorporeal, ownership of real property that is independent of any superior landlord. Land. Why do we focus on land? 1925 law of property, the 1924, etc. that we've looked at before. It ultimately stems from Daniel, Christian Remedy in Law, or somebody else back in the day, pointing out that Adama was made from the mud, the madder, and that's the land. So man and land, land registry, law of property, and other such things. What is it? Doomsday Book. Doomsday. Who was that man? Who was the thingy then in the Doomsday? What year was it? And so forth. William the Conqueror. Was it perhaps? Doomsday, land tenure, tying into English law. feudal law, etc., rules and regulations. Anders has mentioned, the Dansk law, previously, the Dane law, things like that. We was talking about the 11th century area, northern England, etc., that was under control of the Danish Viking Empire, the Danes, Norsemen from the late 9th century. It's just a mess, to be fair. So, yeah, rights, titles and property, allodial, fee simple, laws, rules, rights, constitution. It is a mess. It depends on what title you claim to what jurisdiction. You wouldn't go into an administrative or admiralty type commercial court that doesn't recognise constitution, the Bill of Rights, will say, etc. Try and use that, because it will fall upon deaf ears. It will be futile to try to argue in a court of admiralty, maritime, commercial, the single justice procedure, your constitutional rights. Because they won't recognise that your jurisdictions, your title, who you are. If you're a mister and you're a person, yeah, you see, it's horses for courses. It depends whom, what, when, why, where. Civil, public, criminal. It would be nice for us to have recognition, but lawyers have said previously on public arenas like BBC, Channel 4, etc., documentaries, inquiries, that it's not recognised. But why it's not recognised, they don't elaborate on. It's it's a sticky area, and I'm not in the area to be able to tell you why. All I can tell you is what we do and what we've used and how we win and how we recognise certain aspects of that. But titles and rights, property, your children are your property. It just sounds a bit macabre, clandestine to say that your young stars are property, but they are. They're sired by you from the fruit of your loins. No government was involved in the creation of our blood, of our young stars, but yet government wants to control them. How did this happen? They're your. So let's keep, when we talk of property and we talk of this kind of area, we must go to the most serious and the most important of property, which is our blood, our young stars, our family. Now, how do we lose control and rights over them? And procreations, SPLS, pro-creators. That's right, yeah. It's not professional. It's we're still, after 15 years, working to be professional. We aspire one day to get to that level, but procreator, yeah,
I use constitutional stuff, and that's what it is. Constitutional. It's not constitution, so because it's not ratified. And the best one is the restraints that Houseby explains with administrative law, because obviously there's no justification to pass any act. Not in those words, you know what I mean? But that's the gist of it. So, because of the constitutional value, yeah, set on the Queen,
I have a
especially in
question
coronation
there.
and all.
I have a question there. And here in Sweden, admiralty law, that is managed by the lower courts here in Sweden. So the lower courts are the one that takes care of the admiralty law here. But then when you come up, then that law is changing, because then it's not commercial and anymore. So in the first courts, there is everything when you go to prison and paying fines and everything. Everything is sorted there. But that's under admiralty law. And then when you go over, then it's changing. How is it in England?
But damn. I can't answer that straight away. I just want to add to, I was just researching some up. It was William the Conqueror, Doomsday Book. For England, this is quite important because in 1085, the king sent his agents to survey every shire in England to list its holdings and dues owed to him. And people say to me, but this is ages ago, David, and it's not relevant and it's not important, and things have changed and there's been suppositions and evolutions in law. But the thing is, everyone, Does London have its own postcode? Yes. Did Queen Elizabeth have to ask permission to enter the city of London, the corporate city of London? The answer is yes. Charles, most likely the same. London town, London city. Whom you recognise now as the William I Charter still being in effect. So for England and rules and tenure, it seems that we have, in this country, we have an occupation in the city, in London town, the corporate city of London, still under rule, separate, own police, own postcode, own jurisdiction. It's a foreign landmass within our landmass, and it is still recognised as of the 1067 William I Charter, because they couldn't defeat William in his stronghold in London. So that's why it's relevant that we still have William the Conqueror had to make a deal with those in London because he couldn't defeat the inner city scoundrels. Yeah, so it's messy. It seems like it's a simple argument, and it should be for semi-intelligent people. Semi-intelligent twice now.
Back on semis.
It seems, it's just too messy and sticky, and it depends what you know and who you know and how you articulate things and what titles you claim to if you win or not. And we really need to close down. Sorry, Anders, and then we can continue on with what you want to ask. We really need to deal with these fuckers in London City and get them ensconced off, eject them, deal with this, because while ever they dwell there and have their authority, banking, infrastructure, the wharf, Bond Street, etc., control of us, the crown itself. Now, not the crown on Charles's head, the crown of London, not the Crown Prosecution Service, or not the crown on the papacy, the Pope's head, many crowns. There's crown on our head, inside our head. We all have the crown of thorns as well. So it's just, there's too many crowns, and we only need one crown, and that's us, and the rest can get fucked. I yield.
And breathe.
I think it's too many agents and agencies. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you care to research
to my question,
if you care to research what an agency relationship is, that's a whole world of usufruct, unidroit, and merchant code and stuff like that. Anders, if you'd like to repeat it, we'll go now.
Yeah, no, the only thing is that the lower court here in Sweden, or the basic court, they are the one that they are doing the maritime law system there. They are taking care of that there. But in the higher courts, then I know it is changing here in Sweden. So I was asking, how is the system in England? How does it work there? But I saw Stephen has been in writing there. Admiralty law, and there must be a contract. Yeah. They all use the Price Courts Act, where you're cited and captured. Yeah. So what are your view on it? Or how is the system built up in England? Where is the Admiralty law leaving, so it's coming up to common law?
I'm going through to the little boy's room. I'll be back. You guys can chat. I'll see you in a minute.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I mean, most the courts are administrative. That's all Admiralty. That is what their game is. That is basically the main jurisdiction they're using over here. So it sounds extraordinarily similar to your lot.
Mostly in the magistrates, isn't it? Where they're processing the name and whatever, and have access to the citizenship. Yeah.
It's all, I say, it's all much of a muchness around the world, if you ask me. As I say, the difference in the States is they have the separation of the church and state. That's why they're a bit more mental when it comes to law and shit, or codes, should we call it. and they're much more heavy-handed because there is no interference, and that's exactly what's going to happen here if this whatever it is of the church goes ahead. But I can't say I'm surprised, but it's just another power grab. Not, as I say, not that the church really helps anybody anyway in the law side of things, not unless you really know what you're doing and how to work yourself under ecclesiastical law and all the rest of it and get into that jurisdiction. But that's why they're taking it away. See, we can't have anything to do with God in our little devil game, can we? Especially not the church.
Ecclesiastical depot, Kev. Yeah.
Sorry?
Was your ecclesiastical depot to move that side?
Well, it's something you can. It doesn't hurt to do it and have it, stuck on file at the registrars or whatever. That doesn't hurt at all.
I reckon it collapses the ship. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're in an implied trust, so it would revert all. It would collapse the implied trust, and titles would revert back. Get this done. Sorry, titles would revert back. Franco Collins created the ecclesiastical depot, and a thumbprint. If you research deed pollex, and you will be led to a thumbprint, and what that is, the authentication and authority of the autonomous authorship denoted by the authority of that singular thumbprint that is only one. Well, it's not a thumbprint, it's a thumb mark. It's not printed. So there's a way of doing authority on that front. And the deed pollex and an ecclesiastical
puts a mark on it, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, you go into stamp, seal of your authority, denotes life. Was done in blood previously, things like that. In olden days, they might have used blood seals and things like that going back, spitting, on hands and shaking hands, verbal contract, spit, shake, done. That was your law, wasn't it? That was a gentleman's agreement, verbal contract. So business has changed over the years to suit the law society. Londinium, wasn't it? The Romans founded Londinium, and it's now London, and it was done to suit them. Those that are still there that William the Conqueror couldn't defeat.
Yeah.
You see?
Steve, I haven't forgotten, mate. I hope you're still here. We'll listen back to our bollocks later. Yeah, mate, I haven't forgotten. Just a look, it's just all really awkward and shit at the moment. But yeah, you're on the list for visits amongst a few other people. I don't get out much. It's probably just as well for the community. But no, I haven't forgotten you, mate. And yeah, I will speak to you soon.
Are you waiting for an answer?
No. I was just responding to in the chat, so it's just easier fucking about with typing, especially on this tablet. Jesus,
all I
it's
can
slow.
say is, in answer to Anders' question, from my point of view, we only deal in equity. We only deal with law and principles of law. Is there a victim? Has the common law been broke? So when you talk about courts and justice and how does it work over here, I would like to say that you would need to do business in a court of equity. What is equity? We don't actually glorify and highlight. Glorify, I don't know, maybe the wrong choice of words. We don't actually just highlight the importance of what equity is. It's not law. It's the soul and spirit of the law, as William Blackstone is quoted famously in the 1800s and something, as the great jurists have. And what equity does and why equity is important. Equity is referenced in the Bible in John. Obviously, you have heard this enough from me now, you guys, but others, you need to pick up on that. Let he without sin cast the first stone. Simple. Why? Because he hasn't got any sin. If you've got sin and I've got sin, we're not fit to judge anyone. But can man judge man? Can we be judged? Is that not for, as we said at the beginning stages of this show, is that not for a higher self, our creator, to do? Or, Akhenaten changing it to Anubis, from polytheistic to monotheistic in Egyptian. Why is that relevant? Why have I splintered off into there? Well, the black rod, the orbs, the traditions, the way that the royal family covered such things as, there's lots of links, tedious ones and historical ones and important ones to them, not to us, and how they emulate that. And the Egyptians fascinated on stars and traveling to the stars, we have stars, Hollywood has stars, the Hall of Fame, the stars, the fascination with astro-theological connections. It's amazing our heads haven't popped, to be fair.
But what I've been reading, it is that equity, it is a parallel law system that goes together with common law, and it is actually needed for common law to be useful.
Yeah, there are rules who can use. Not both parties can utilize equity. First in line is first in time. Yes, you're right, and it supplements common law, and it's a I wouldn't say private remedy, but it was merged within common law in the 1873 to 1876 adjudicature. I don't think it's adjudicator. I think it's a judicature.
Yeah.
Weird one. Looks a bit like adjudicator, but it's not. And for dyslexics like me, it really messes your mind up. So there you go. So it's there, and only if you, it's like secret, and only the privileged know about it. It's not something that we were meant to find out about. In essence, and equity, yeah, complements common law. It's not law. It's like when a trust is formed, created, expressed, brought into existence, equity is there by default to manage that, and the parties' positions within that. So it's not for debate. It's how it is. But that's legal equity. There's ecclesiastical equity. I've just said there's biblical equity, where Jesus in John points out that he without sin can cast the first stone. So we don't revere legal equity or the equity of the Londinium Knights, Templars and the Law Society. We're aware of it. We don't revere it. We're aware of the teachings within the scriptures, but we know that they are not, they're allegorical, they're metaphysical, they're metaphors in themselves. They are not literally to be taken literally, but they are to be pondered upon and meditated on. And as others have said, so equity in itself, then the divisions of that, but to keep it simple, lawful equity complements common law, and it was done in the late 19th century, 1870s. And if you don't know about it, you'll never be able to use it, and only one party can. And there's the what do we call it? The propositions of equity and the maxims of equity, of which I believe there are 20.
Yep.
And if you do your effective estate administration correctly and paperwork and notifying governments, of which we have been talking about all this time, then that's when equity. You see, when we talk about administrative relief, what are we looking for when we want relief? We want to seek for alternative provisions to this current fiscal surety to the private bankers of the Bank of England and the Federal Reserve, the central banking system, to the Goldsteins again, and etc. The Zionists, as you've mentioned at the beginning of the show. So when we talk about relief, we want equitable relief. We want to seek the capital gains made by the state on our behalf, whilst we are putting these implied trusts, because Mum handed over our entitlement at the point of registration to the Registrar General. So equity comes to save the day. And if you furthermore want to go into it, just quickly, they say, oh, but David, you have to do it by the age of 7, otherwise you're out, or you get another chance at 14, and your final chance is at 21. You know that card with the key that we give to one another in England? That means that you've got the key to the door. What door? We don't know. We didn't even get a clue, but it appears that your time is up now. You're 40 something. You can't use equity and this, that, the other, and claim certain things and require of, because your time is up. Well, to those people and to the establishment, to the Londinium Templars, etc., I say this: man arrived first, then the citizen came after. Man, you all first in line, you're first in time. The person come after. So shove your 7, 14, and 21 years where the sun don't shine. I'm still going, and I'm going for that reason alone. Man was here first. I'm first in time, as your maxims of equity say. Shove you for. See, I think people are put into this circuit to discourage us. So we just go, oh, it's too late. Never mind. I'm off to work. Happy to be a slave. Bye.
So what you are saying, it is that what I've been saying too, that equity, it is made for the 10 commandments. That's where equity was made. Like you said, may the one without sin throw the first stone, or cast the first stone. So it is from the Bible, you know. So there we have the law book. It is written there, everything. But I see it as it been hijacked. Everything been hijacked by a system, like the law system now. They've been hijacking the 10 commandments. They've been splitting it up into million pieces, you know. So nobody, when it's so easy, just read the 10 commandments, live after those ones.
Yeah, and while you're there and on the Bible, another little bit of Billy Carson's just popped into me. He says another little bit of Billy Carson's just popped into me. Oh dear. Oh, Kevin, I just remembering that joke about the demon and the priest. Train of thought. Come on, David. He says that most of the killing done in the Bible, over 3 million people, is done by Yeshua and not the devil. I'm like, what? He's done some research, that lad. He's really ripping it apart. He's like, so this revered book with your God that's full of love and will forgive with love, has created a place called hell for you to burn, you know, because he loves you. Yeah, and he's killed over 3 million people in the Bible. That's your God. Enjoy him. Love him. I don't like him. Doesn't sound very nice to me. That's what Billy says. He's got. That's a dog across that way now. I can't stop that. He's reminiscent of Hitchens a little bit inside him as well, called Christopher, where he's going. Angles he's taken, a bit of like Alan Watts. Yeah. Philosophy, I like it. Escapism. Finding your soul. Soul food is what we're looking for. Law. You mentioned natural law earlier. I disagreed with what you said, but I didn't speak up because my opinion of natural law is atomic law, universal law, fundamental principles of physics which are immutable. That's what I would call natural law. Nature.
Yeah, but natural law is hijacked by the Catholic Church. So now they are deciding what is right and what is not right. And that was up to God before, you know. There was clear rules, but now the church have been taking over that, or the Catholic Church, and they've been changing it. So they have full control over what they are doing.
Yeah, the bloodlines, the families. Yeah, Santos has covered it extensively years ago when I looked at all of that, and the Black Pope, the Grey Pope, the Red Pope, the Black Nobility, the Venetians, the Phoenicians. And yep, you're right. It's madness, and we've let it happen. But we're not in that club. Do they have the authority? You know, it's a bit like all religions, all denominations of religions are registered with the Vatican. When you say about control, yeah, you know, I talk to the Muslim friends and the fruit of Islam and things like that, people that are in these denominations, and I point out to them, you do realise, you do want to check it out, that your church is registered with the Christian Church in the Vatican. How do you feel about that? How does Muhammad feel about that? What does Allah say? Yeah, madness. So the control and the rhetoric is there. It's prevalent through and through the Abrahamic faiths. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam have been hoodwinked, yeah. But there's many stepping up now with the truth. Go on, Kevin.
That wasn't me, it was a cat.
Shut up.
No, I see that the Christians and the Muslims, they have more in common with the Bible than with the Jewish Bibles, because
Well,
they
they're
actually
special.
have more than one. They have one that is coming from Babylon, where they're originally coming from, these people, you know. So, and then you have the old Jews that is using the Torah, I believe it's called.
Yeah.
So,
Torah and Talmud.
yes. So it's a big difference there. And when we see that, then we see where the Zionism is coming from, and we see how it's controlling the American so-called free church, those big churches. They are Zionistic churches. Who are controlling them? Where is all this money going? They are not only going to big jet planes and things, you know. So all this money, they goes somewhere. And I see where it's going, but it's, the viewers' duty actually to check it up themselves too, you know, because then much of the problem in this world will be clear. And who are the people sitting in our law system? Who are the judges? Who are the lawyers? Who are they loyal to? Are they also Zionists? Are they pledging alliance to two nations? That's what they're doing if they're Zionists.
Very likely.
Yeah.
Infiltrated everywhere.
Another thing before I go to the room, Tucker Carlson rant I watched today on Tube. I think I posted it in News You Can Use. He's on about privacy and wanting privacy and how we should all have privacy and how that we haven't got it. And yet the security services reference Donald Trump and how they allowed the shooter to be present and what happened to be shot in the ear. They won't release details of it because it's under the national secret, and they sidestep giving public excuses because they hide under, and these kind of people that, you know, these factions and bloodlines and institutions that allow this to happen, you know, shit hits the fan and they go, oh yeah, well, it's matters of national. No, you should answer for your failings. Was it an inside job, or are you just shockingly egregious at what you do? One or the other. Come on. Well, we can't discuss, you know, it's Tucker Carlson's really I didn't like him at first, but I'm warming to him. I think he's a dude.
Peak
He's all right.
Channel put out a whole critique of that and all. No, Peak Prosperity as a channel, and he went over the whole thing and ripped it apart.
Yeah.
Let's get in the room. Is it 11:11 as it happens? So, Albert, what time are you up tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm not.
All right then. Let's say it's 11:10, lad.
Yeah, so, I know we didn't start till late, but we've had a go. We done an hour before we went on the broadcast, didn't we?
Like that bad smell.
The procrastinating sovereign is looking after 3 8-year-old lads. Only one is his.
Good luck.
Bless him. Good luck. So look, let's read the room. Come on, help us out. Let's go, and we'll look to say goodbye and thank you, and we'll be back. We'll give you some notice next time. Anders pointed out that I failed to give notice, and I said, "I'm on holiday. Leave me alone." And I said, "Next time we'll do it. We'll pin it. We'll advertise it. We'll let you know." So my apologies on that. From well done, Anders, for that recommendation.
You are on holiday.
It's 3-week holiday though. I'm ready. I'm ready to come back. Let me tell you. I know that's a sad thing to say, but yeah, I've got to plaster the attic. There's loads to do. Got a front room to sort out, plaster the walls, replaster them, do the tiles, rip up the carpet, put tiles down. Took out the gas pipe, took out the fireplace. Oh man, all properly and lawfully, safely, in compliance with. Not that, that's a big thing, but when it comes to certain things, you need to get shit done by qualified people at least.
Yeah.
We've got lots to do. I need to earn some pennies. I'm looking forward to the gathering.
So do I.
Shut up. Harping on about it.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Let's go. Canon Law 1553, Deed Pollex, thumbprint, sign of nature. Boom, there it is, yes. That's what Frank's picked up upon and then used his, what is it, Ucadia? Was it One Law, One Heaven org?
Oneheaven.org, yeah.
All next to the River Thames on the wharf.
Just to add, you can actually look at that in the Internet Archive way back. You can look at that site if you're haven't got knowledge to it.
Oh, can you? Has it been archived?
Yeah, it's been archived, mate. So you can go to the Wayback Machine and go back and have a look at certain pages. Some might not show, So they're trying to keep it live.
Wait. Yeah. I don't know it. You call it the Wayback Machine, but I know it as. Let me search for Dreamcast CDI ROMs. I have to do it this way because this is the last time I was on there.
Dreamcast?
Sega Dreamcast. Redundant.
I just go Wayback Machine because it captures the web. Yeah.
Internet Archive, I call it. I use archive.org. I find that one better.
Yeah, that is Internet Archive. It is what they do. Yeah.
You call it Wayback Machine.
Wayback
and
Machine.
When I click on Dreamcast CDI ROMs, blah blah blah, I go on there and it loads up as Internet Archive. But sometimes it does pop up as Wayback Machine. I get confused with it all. But Wayback Machine is not archive.org, or is it?
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's an alternative as well. But I'll have a look on the Wayback.
Yeah, Wayback. You can get all that old websites. You only got to know the URL. So, like we were saying, One Heaven, Arcadia. Is it Arcadia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for your viewership tonight. Thank you for your questions. There's still 20 or thereabouts hanging on with us. So thank you. It has been fun, actually. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, respect.
It's been a nice little stroll out. Thanks everybody for joining us. We do appreciate it. Listening to us rattle on. But it's nice to have the interaction. Good to see everybody. And we'll give you a bit more notice next time. It's all Dave's fault.
Yep. Blame me. The governor. Heavy is the head that wears the crown is my excuse. There I am. That's where I am here. That's the backdrop. Yeah, I've just started to drink some 80% proof homemade, what do they call it? Palinka fire water. I've just had a swig of that.
Oh,
Oh
it is
Put
yeah,
it
like
down, yeah.
Slivovich.
you could put this
Is
in
it
it.
made of pears or plums?
Plums, I think they said. Yeah,
Yeah,
plums.
it's like Slivo, they call it there. I've been
Cool.
checking up Wayback Machine, that actually wayback.archive.org. So I think it's the same company. It's the same.
Yeah, it is the same man that said.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you can find on there, though. It is. It saved me a
Oh,
few
yeah.
times, that bit. It has indeed. Torrents. I was looking for torrents, like Dreamcast torrents, and that's where I got most of them from redundant. It's called redundant software. It's non-copyright, non-infringement. They're
Yeah.
free to use, so you get like modified for emulators, ROMs, stuff like that. Dreamcast games. I have brought a little Android TV box with me that's got 120,000 ROMs on it via 16 emulators. It's only a tiny little box like this that I got from AliExpress, 4 controllers, and it's got every game up to like 2005, from 1988, Amstrad, Commodore, Amiga, Atari, Sega, Nintendo, everything. And I'm just like, that'll do, in times when you just want to switch off and blast stuff.
Wouldn't mind one of them myself.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was 80 quid. It was 60, 80 quid AliExpress, 128 gigabyte TF card that's got all the ROMs on, emulators, Emutech or Emulec, something. There's loads of it. If you go on Reddit, you'll find everything on Reddit or GitHub.com. It's fantastic if you're into games, software, things like that, modding, soft mods. Yeah.
The latest computer game I was playing was Pac-Man, I think. I was 15 years old,
Yeah, that's a classic.
Pac-Man. Yeah, and then it was Space Invaders too, where you're shooting down all the ships coming. So it's
Yeah.
arcade games.
Yeah, I had the stand-up Space Invaders when I was living in Hersham many years ago, full-size one, with all the
Yeah.
cabinet and everything. Yeah, the bloke got pissed one night and said I could have, so I took it.
On your back.
No, luckily I didn't live far away, and a mate had a motor, managed to squeeze it in his back of his motor across. I think we had one of the doors open.
I used to like as a nipper, as a youth, I used to like the tabletop ones, the games with the Pac-Man and Defender on, and it had the rollerball, so you could just go boom, and just properly hammer it. Yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah.
In the days where mum and dad used to go to the pub, or dad would go to the pub and put you in the kids' room, and you'd be playing in the kids' room, and dad would be drinking and smoking, a pub full of smoke. Yeah, it was all good times.
Yeah.
All good times. Sit you there with some 50p's.
Before everything was scary.
Yeah, before everything was scary. 1986, 1988, something like that.
No way. I was so curious. I was so curious on everything. I was not scared of anything.
22 in 88.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. The procrastinating sovereign has written something, and he's put, your answer is why I joined your website, but I don't know what my answer was that you joined the website. So could you please enlighten me before we go? And I'm going to make you a moderator as well. Sorry. I'll do that as well. You've been in a while now. Let's upgrade you. The film Karate.
Ready?
What's he saying here, Stephen? I'm lost with that one. Yeah, we're going to catch up with Stephen. Admins and I will talk about that disenfranchising of the church and state. Seminar's been sorted, is being sorted. Remedy is on the way. And then there is a publication that we need to get out, that I'd like to get out, Sovereign Ethics, The Rising of Knowledge, which can no longer be suppressed. And then it's Christmas. Shh, what? I know.
What? Already?
Christmas! Another pagan tradition disguised in Christianity. Shh.
Oh.
Into commercial reality.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hardy upgraded to mod. There we go. I'm scranning up the room. We'll get ready to go then, yeah. A gallon of lager.
A long goodbye.
Kevin, can you drink a gallon of lager? That's what Stephen's saying. What's that, 8
Well,
pints?
We'll have a go, yeah.
About 8 pints?
Depends how long the day is, doesn't it? Don't go in there and do that in 10 minutes or 2 hours. But over the course, strong possibility. Few chasers. We're always well behaved.
Yeah, Stephen's put employees of uk.gov. We are only chattel stock, animal or aggregates, not whole but corporation entities. We are under common law, but no court has that, only when murder takes place.
Yeah.
Chattel stock, yeah, so corporation, corporeal, corporeal, incorporeal. Corporeal is important words there as well, and incorporeal. You to research and look at, with regards to chattel stock, corporation, corpse, the corpse, corpus, Christ, etc. What is that? Incorporeal, corporeal. I think we've done that. We can get off. We're all up to date. Thank you very much. Bless up. Thank you, Anders, Kevin, Bert, Scribes. Thank you to me.
Nice one.
Chin chin.
Thank you, David.
And thank you, Jesus. Thank you for everything.
Making me an atheist.
Yeah. Thank you for tonight, boys.
Yeah, love to everyone. Nice one, Dave. Good to chat, Albert. Yeah, nice one, Albert. Good to chat with you, mate.
He's off.
And I was just.
Oh, so Anders. Much love. Thank you all. Bosh. See you soon. We'll speak tomorrow, admins. We'll see you soon, Tube.
Bye.
You ready? We done?
We're done.
Let's go. Much love.